Dan, I've known you for a long time, and I feel like you're a principled person and usually on the right side of arguments. And I know you feel more alone than you ever have. But do you believe in your conviction? Do you believe in what it is you're saying? Because if you do, bleep everyone else.
I appreciate you saying that as opposed to the way we ended last segment, which was Stugotz genuinely saying as soon as we went off the air, when the bleep are we getting to my Lamar Jackson take?
Enough.
We're going to do that in a second. But yes, of course, how could I not both keep my convictions and feel more and more alone as I see gun deaths going up and Florida is more free about guns and people keep moving to Florida and out of the places that are more liberal, because if we're headed toward a fight or a civil war or something that looks like the modern equivalent, best to be safe with your neighbors in Florida where they allow more things that I'm not comfortable with.
So next segment for Lamar.
I'm not sure I'm following.
Time to get to the other potentially unvaxxed quarterback.
Which part are you not following, Jessica? That I would feel alone in Florida with my Cuban people who think I'm a gusano, a worm, because I don't ride with some of my people's politics, and Florida is becoming a safe haven, a welcome place where a record number of residents are moving out of New York, more than anywhere in the United States. And San Francisco is falling apart in a way that's pretty empirical and scary, and people are moving to Florida.
What about Chicago?
I mean, they're also two. I haven't looked at the data, but they're two of the most expensive real estate markets, and shit, just owning a house, renting costs a ton of money. Miami also is very, very expensive. I don't feel like I'm saving much money by living here instead of living in New York, but I don't know. I don't feel like I'm safe in a state that has one of the laxest gun control rights in the entire country. I don't know.
Get a gun.
Also,
There you go.
not a lot
Not
a lot of reproductive rights here.
Pretty easy.
Not so safe to be a pregnant person with a,
Like that kid.
Get two guns. One for you, one for
with
the
a
kid.
complicated pregnancy.
Couple of guns, cutting
I don't
it
know.
up.
I'm just not following today, but that's okay.
Today's been weird.
Yeah. It's this
Weird
game
one.
win streak.
Yeah.
Willow bit that wire and it threw everything off.
Never forget the time my
Bad
grandfather
girl.
looked me in the eyes and told me Michelle Obama's a woman. Yeah. Rocked my world.
Stugotz, let's everybody get out of the way. Stugotz has been wanting all week. He's got something for Lamar Jackson. I don't know what it is.
Right.
But I've been waiting for it all week, and you have stumbled in here soaked in medicine and eager to tell Lamar Jackson something that has not been said by anyone yet.
Every year, Dan, I like to do this right around playoff time. I like to list the quarterbacks that have the most amount of pressure on them. And this year, I don't care what happens this weekend, this year that quarterback is Lamar Jackson. Everything has broken correctly for Lamar Jackson. And if you want to be considered one of the elites, 2 MVPs before the age of 26, not going to do it. You have everything right in front of you. Everything is there for the taking. You have the number 1 seed. You have the bye week. You have 2 home games to make it to the Super Bowl. You have the Chiefs, a team that has been great for the last 7 or 8 years. They are down. You have no Joe Burrow. If you get to the Super Bowl, you're likely going to play Brock Purdy or Jared Goff. If not now, when for Lamar Jackson? And if he wants us to stop excluding him from elite quarterback conversations, then he has to get it done this year. Because, Dan, I am telling you, it will never be easier this year, ever, in his entire career, than it will be for him this year. He has it all right in front of a bad Dolphin team, a team that's down, that's injured. He has the Chiefs and Mahomes, they're down. No Joe Burrow. Dan, this is the year. They are an overwhelming favorite to make it to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. And I am telling Lamar Jackson right now, if you want me to include you in top-tier quarterback conversations moving forward, you better get it done this season.
All right.
Do it in the Super Bowl! There it is, the official announcement from Stugotz, Lamar Jackson. You've done nothing.
He hasn't.
Do it in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, you want to shut Bill Polian up, then this is how you do it. You go to the Super Bowl, you win the Super Bowl, because it's never going to be easier for you. You would agree, right?
I think he's already done that, Stu. He's already shut Bill Polian up. He's won 2 MVPs as a quarterback.
No, he doesn't completely
he's about
shut him
to.
up until he gets to the Super Bowl.
How would you categorize an overwhelming favorite in the conference?
I feel, Mike, are
I'm
they
just
not an
asking-
overwhelming favorites? They're the
Well-
number 1 seed with 2 home games to get to the Super Bowl.
But they do actually put prices on these things. So, like, what do you think constitutes an overwhelming favorite?
I would say like minus 1,500 or something like that.
Well, they are not that. They are plus money
Really?
to make it to the Super Bowl. They're the favorite within their own conference, but to
Wow.
say overwhelming might be a bit of a reach.
Tony, why do you have a giant radiant smile on your face? Is it because you just witnessed Maximum Stugotz and you're still awed as a kid who grew up in this market, as a kid whose father, he
Trying to help Lamar out. I want to discuss him when we talk about elite quarterbacks on this show, and I can't because he hasn't won a Super
But
Bowl.
Tony's father and you elbowed each other for space in the English-Spanish market of sports radio in Miami. And Tony was just beaming as if he walked into a museum and was looking at a piece of art.
I saw my mentor doing his stuff, having that one last fastball down the plate that's smoked by the batter. Like him saying in the same couple of segments that one, you should be confident in the Miami Dolphins, and then 2 saying you have a bad Dolphins team that you're just going to steamroll.
That's how I roll.
It's perfect.
That was then. This
I
is
learned
now.
from the best.
I mean, here's another take I'll give you guys while we're at it, okay?
Oh, no,
I am telling you
there's
right
more.
now, I am telling you, if I'm a Dolphin fan, I want to lose this Sunday. I would rather go to Kansas City than have the Texans and C.J. Stroud stroll into town. A 22-year-old kid, doesn't know any better, really talented. I think they're 7-1 in his last 8 starts. I would rather go to Kansas City, get him early, than play at home against C.J.
He's
Stroud.
not guaranteed to
How
make the
about
play-
that? You won't hear that anywhere.
He's not guaranteed to make the playoffs. This is an asinine take.
Neither are the Bills. I mean,
Mike, please, I've got to stop this real quick. Billy, please, I need your attention for a second because you clearly couldn't have been listening to that segment because I made one simple request
he's already heard it.
of you. Stugotz ended that with the dismount. You won't hear that anywhere else. And I heard it through his soundproof door when he was taping God Bless Football. It's a take he's already given more exclusively to God Bless Football. When he says you won't hear that anywhere else, you will literally hear it in the last place he was taping. He gave the ridiculous take already. This is a recycled take we're getting here.
Right.
Billy,
Yeah.
why? I asked you specifically when he's doing recycled, reheated work around here
What?
to alert me when we're getting the laziest of recycled content. Why is he ending a sentence with,
You got Lamar first. I
you
mean,
won't hear that anywhere else when he already was giving that take 45 minutes ago?
This one had a different twist to it. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yes,
It's very
right.
close.
Thank
It was
you,
like
Billy.
it's like Coke and Coke Zero. Diet Coke, Coke Zero. What's the difference between Diet Coke and Coke Zero? The can color.
Mike, you were in your phone there. Is it because you're bored? The same thing that was making Tony.
You can't let him get away
What
with
is this
that.
guy
That
talking
is the,
about?
the worst
won't hear
take
that
of all
anywhere
time.
else.
That's true.
I was in my phone looking at odds just to trying to wrap my brain around the thing that I won't hear anywhere else. And it is a pretty interesting scenario in that
Thank you.
the second most favored team inside the AFC to win the conference is a team that might not make the playoffs altogether headed into the final week in the Buffalo Bills.
Steelers. Oh,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Jessica, your only rooting interest here are to have
Smitty Bowl.
a folding table and a tent that I have now promised to fund through DraftKings and Meadowlark, a party that is the Smitty Bowl in the parking lot in Miami. If indeed, this is a dream scenario for the Dolphins. Steelers at home, first playoff game? Like, isn't that what the Dolphins would ask for? They'd want
I'd rather go to Kansas City.
Steelers or the Colts?
trust me, you want to play the Steelers.
Get the Chiefs early. I mean,
I'm gonna get a spinach dip, buffalo chicken dip,
Have to.
jalapeno popper dip.
Have to.
What, potato salad? Coleslaw? No.
Depends on the potato salad. You can go New York style. You can go Southern style. Depends.
We're gonna have just an array of Publix dips and
Public
bags of
subs
chips.
too. We can
I'll
get
get
the
a
little
chicken
like Spyro
tendy,
Publix
big
subs,
chicken
yeah.
tendy sub. It's gonna be great.
Might as well
Smitty
get the
Bowl.
little poppers too.
I love those.
I love
Those
the
go
poppers.
quick though.
Yeah.
Those go quick.
I'll get my own personal rotisserie chicken, of course.
I've got a controversial question to ask I've never asked in the history of this show. What is the one item that everyone in our audience would say that is item draft pick selection number 1 tailgate? Because you mentioned public subs, and that's one of the first things I went to. But I don't know what would be. Is there a universal consensus on my number 1 overall pick for a tailgate is blank?
Yeah, well, actually, the answer is pretty simple because nothing pairs with our national obsession of football quite like a 96-calorie Miller Lite, that beautiful white can, from kickoff to the final whistle.
That is what I was thinking. It's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. Beer, and only one kind of beer.
You're gonna want a beer that tastes like beer, number 1. Yeah. And it hits your taste buds so hard you feel it in your heart.
I had a
You know it's won multiple beer cups? Yeah. They don't just give those things away. Huh. And it's triple hops brewed. Mm-hmm. They could have quit after 2. But they decide, you know what? Let's brew these with hops one more time.
Coming to a Smetty Bowl near you.
Yeah.
It's why I've never done the show. It's such an obvious, dumb question. Like, before, when I drank beer, I didn't know if I had a heart. But then I drank this beer, and I was like, oh, it touches my heart.
Whoa.
Well, it hits you in the heart.
Yeah.
That tastes like beer.
I have a heart, yes. Unbelievable. Jeremy has been keeping some statistics. He took a certain delight in informing me. I didn't even know it was this bad. Hey, Dan, and he said it in such a cheery voice. Mm-hmm. You've lost 8 straight weeks at the Bucket of Death.
I was just excited to let you know because I knew you'd be excited for all the costumes.
Yeah, I left the house today. My poor wife is like surrounded by just materials that she is trying to prepare for the watch party. I have a costume grid of death punishment. I will have to
what does that mean?
pay on Sundays. There were arts and crafts in the living room.
You're
all
way
over the floor.
This.
By trying.
Just watch us suffer on Sunday. That's it. Undersell. Mm-hmm. Not there's materials all over.
No, I'm just saying. No, when she's. I don't want to talk about this. I don't enjoy doing this.
You brought it up.
That's not true.
I didn't bring it up. Jeremy whispered to me that I'd lost 8 straight weeks, and then Mike played this music.
How'd that make you feel when you saw your wife making a costume?
Aroused.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and pick from the Bucket of Death. Ooh, I got the 49ers.
Wow, big game against the Rams, huh?
Sam Darnold versus Carson Wentz.
All right, producers, I do not have any spreads in front of me. I need some spreads so that I can help
Spreads
people
don't matter.
follow
Let's do this with starting quarterbacks. Let's do this with starting quarterbacks.
That's fair.
Courtesy of our friends over at DraftKings.
I believed that Sam Darnold should win the Heisman in 2017, so I'm going to keep this.
Oh, God.
49ers minus
USC.
4, by the way. Minus 4 for the Rams.
All right.
Do the Rams need it, or they're secured?
I think the Rams are secured.
Okay.
I'm picking for Chris.
It'd be weird
Lucy,
if they were starting Carson Wentz and they weren't.
A big game.
and Willow, because I have the golden helmet of life. I only lost once this year.
I've
Best
lost
year of my
8
life.
straight weeks.
The
Tanking.
Packers. This is for Chris Cody, number 1.
Jordan Love
Packers.
against Justin Fields.
Oh, wow.
Packers, Bears. Ugh, I'm gonna keep this because the Bears don't beat the Packers historically.
The Bears have been good, though.
Packers need this one.
Stugotz. It's the Bears.
All right.
Chris Cody's keeping the Packers. That's as far as the games go this weekend. That's not a bad one to have.
Okay.
Lucy has the Falcons. Ooh.
That could be Heineke. That could be Ritter. It is certainly Derek Carr.
Putting that one back.
That's how we're doing this. We're simply going to
But it's
just
also 3.5.
do quarterbacks. This is a weird week, right? Nobody wants to bet that Ravens game, correct? They're going to be trying to rest
I'm
everybody.
all over that Steelers
Detroit.
game. Thank you.
Lucy gets Detroit. Favorites over the Vikings.
Are they not locked in at their position? They're not. They have to win that game.
They
That
still
game
have an
matters.
outside chance to improve their
They have
position.
a 98% chance of the 3 seed.
But they might be able to go to 2 if they win that game. Are they going to be playing that game as if they care?
That is Goff versus Nick Mullins.
I'm keeping the line. Well, I have to keep the line.
Even if they don't care.
Nick
Willow
Goff versus Nick
gets
Mullins.
the Falcons. I'm putting that back again. No Falcons.
Did Willow win or lose last
She
week?
won. We put back the Jags helmet. Knew they were going to lose. Got the Raiders. Big upset over the Chiefs. Willow wins. And Wizard of Oz for Willow.
Lions, Tigers, Bears, any of those.
You got the Bengals, Jake Browning versus Jeff Driscoll. That would be your Tiger. But I think maybe Lions and Jared Goff.
Take the
against
Lions. 2 Lions
Mullins.
this week.
I've got the Miami Dolphins.
3-point dog. Last I checked, I don't know if that line has gone up at all. Last I checked, 3-point dog
This
against
is Tua versus
Bills.
Josh Allen.
Wow.
Tony, come on. Tony. Billy, what would you do in this situation?
I've
Tony,
got the line- I've
Tony
got
has
the,
the
the
Dolphins helmet. What would you do? Dolphins?
Keep it.
He always wants to see me suffer, though. So I know this trick from him. It's like, yeah, keep it, buddy. It's going to be great. Then the Bills win by 40, and then I have to do
But he
something
wants you to show
stupid.
confidence.
Yeah.
I mean,
you haven't
Tony-
worn that many costumes this year.
I'd prefer you talk it out for maybe 4 more minutes.
All right, I'll keep it.
They've lost once at home. That's a good helmet this week. I mean, it is.
Stugotz is the only one who believes in the Dolphins. It seems like everyone else around here has checked out, scared of injuries.
Although I did say a loss would be better, go to Kansas City rather than have C.J. Stroud strolling
not
in young.
guaranteed to
Right.
make the playoffs.
We'll see.
That's right.
He's
You're
making
not going
it.
to hear that anywhere else.
He's beating the Colts. I mean,
God bless football. Went out earlier today where he has reheated that take 4 or 5 times now. Billy, what do you have there?
I have the Seahawks.
ooh, they need it.
The
They
Seahawks are at
Geno
the Cardinals.
Smith at Kyler Murray.
Yeah, however, by the time the Seahawks game kicks off, they will know their fate. So I'm going to put it back because it could be a situation where they are not playing for anything and they know it.
That is why he is the Dookie, the internationally acclaimed 4th-ranked best football analyst in the world.
Ooh, I got a TYFYS helmet. Thank you for your service. So I have an armed service, and they're
They're done, right?
they're done. So I guess I get their first game next season.
Yeah. You want to take the Coast Guard?
The armed services are totally done playing football.
Well, they play basketball, though.
Oh, yeah, you can do
Yes,
that.
right.
No, I'll wait till next football season. I'll give it a think-see.
All right. Make sure we chart that, please.
Yeah, I'm sure Billy will be on top of the scheduling on that. I'm sure
I
won't
rule with an
slip-
iron
yes.
fist, I'll have you know, and I've paid off all of my debt this year.
What are
so
you
far.
eating?
What are you eating?
Toast.
You think that's a good idea to do that when we're at microphones?
I didn't think I was going to be questioned on my integrity.
Rams, spin it back.
The Rams are 4-point dog at San Francisco.
God damn it. I picked the Rams again.
Carson Wentz.
That's
I mean,
just clumsy. That's just you're supposed to keep the helmet out. Instead,
No,
you
you're
No, you got to put it
not.
back
you got to
in.
put it back in.
Wow. No
You're
wonder
fine.
you've lost 8 straight times.
Has that ever happened before?
I've got the New Orleans Saints.
No.
I'm going to be putting that one back.
They need it.
That has not happened before, Roy. The Saints are a 3-point favorite at home against the Falcons.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to pass up on that opportunity. Thank you very much. I am taking the Kansas City Chiefs that are starting Blaine Gabbert. But I think they're playing Easton
They're at
Stick.
the
so
Chargers, yes.
Yeah. I think I upgraded, honestly.
They're in a 3.5-point dog. You were a 3-point favorite. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
I like this. I like this more.
What are you,
Easton Stick is a 3-time national champion.
There's something
good.
there with him, by the way.
Yep.
Mike? You're a man who likes the numbers around betting and
Yeah.
value. You just swung 7 points in the wrong direction, and you said, "I like
I
my
don't trust the
randomness."
Saints. I don't trust the Chiefs either. But
I got the Colts.
The Indianapolis Colts are at home. They are a 1-point dog against
You've
CJ
been on the record.
Putting it back. Get out of here.
It'd be weird.
C.J. Stroud's going to the Super Bowl, huh?
Yeah, you've
You haven't
mentioned
heard that anywhere.
Nope.
Here we go. Give me the Texans. Give me the Texans. Give them to me. The Bills.
Stugotz is now in such a winning position because publicly he's gotten the applause of "I'm the only one who believes in the Dolphins."
Yep.
But why
The
does he
ultimate
always
hedge.
win? He always wins. I got the Tampa Bay Bucks.
They need it.
I don't.
You
play the
put, wait, did
Panthers.
you already put it back?
Put that back.
You took a
He's
put
tanking.
Baker Mayfield's
He's tanking, guys.
5.5-point favorite, Tampa Bay Bucks who need it.
He wants
against-
to dress up.
against
The
the Carolina
Panthers.
against the Carolina Panthers. You put that back.
He wants his ninth loss in a row.
Is it fully back in the bucket?
No,
or do
it's
you
back.
Still have
It's
it?
back.
Oh wow.
He wants to dress up. I'm telling you.
Make it 9 straight weeks.
He has
Like,
materials
Freak.
and
There is
costumes.
there is a skill to this game.
Now I have the Vikings.
Ooh.
Nick Mullins, congratulations. How do you feel about that one?
They need it.
Minnesota is on the road at Detroit. That was terrible what I just did there. I deserve
Awful,
it. Unless
Not as bad as me picking the Rams twice.
no, it's that
worse.
bad.
Roy also had the golden helmet of life, apparently, and
Hey!
forgot. But it's too late. You already picked.
No,
You
Roy.
already picked.
No,
We have to do it
Roy.
over again.
Roy,
No,
you got to do the whole thing over again.
Yeah, no, binding.
no.
When you're that incompetent, it sticks to you.
Roy, you need
I
to,
forgot. I'm sorry.
Roy, go sit in jail. Go sit.
Hey, wait, don't
in
talk about jail to me.
If that isn't the American
Go
justice
sit
system.
I would send Roy to the penalty box.
Nope.
You're supposed to
Jail.
remind me about that.
Jail. No,
All right, I'm out
I'm
here. That's
supposed
you
to.
Tried to help you out.
I'm
optically
supposed to
here, Dan.
remind you of your privilege.
What?
I'm supposed to
I think
remind
you just
you.
reminded us of our privilege by sending him to jail.
No.
Yes.
He's going to dig in on this one.
Not
guys.
so left, are we?
He
Yeah.
had the golden helmet of life. I do not need to remind him of his privilege. He needs to remember that he has the golden helmet of life.
Yeah.
6 wins in a row for the Panthers, Dan.
Get out.
Okay, bye.
You're in jail. Tony has a stat of the day for us. That was a fun basketball night last night, Stugotz, because, again, while a 7'3" rookie is playing against someone known as the Greek Freak, and after that game, the Greek Freak says he's not 7'3". He's taller than that. The freakiest thing to happen last night was not in that basketball game. It was at the buzzer. The Warriors against Denver, the defending champion Denver Nuggets, as Jokic again puts up a ridiculous stat line. And Stugotz, Jokic did an interview earlier this week in which he said a couple of things that are absolutely true and show why he's kind of joyless. One, he said winning the championship was more relief than feeling anything good.
I get that.
And two, he said of his fame and celebrity, it makes him sad that everywhere he goes, somebody just pulls out a video camera and records him. He doesn't feel good about his fame. He doesn't like it. It makes him sad. That person was as happy as you will ever see him. Happier than when he won the championship, because at the buzzer, it's the greatest feeling in sports, he hits a 40-footer. So get me the stat of the day music, please.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
Guys, Nikola Jokic has missed 5 shots in his last 4 games.
No way.
5 shots in his last 4 games.
Impossible.
Well, one of them was at the buzzer last night, and he didn't miss that one either.
Half court.
And it was from half court. And Stan Van Gundy's analysis was just, you've got to be shitting me.
I was arguing back here earlier that I think Jokic might actually be the best center I've ever seen play basketball.
I mean,
Right?
he
Not
must
that you've
be.
seen.
You
just
never saw
maybe
Kareem.
ever? No, I mean, I saw Shaq, right? Shaq was pretty amazing, but Jokic is better, right?
Had that take over the summer. Yeah, he's the greatest center ever.
sorry.
Yes, move on.
Last 4
Nothing to
games,
see here.
All right.
including last night, 13 of 16. Monday night, 6 of 7. Friday night, 9 of 10. Thursday night, 11 of 11.
Put it on the poll, please. Is Jokic 10 times better than Wilt?
I'm still surprised.
We are just days away from the final college football game of the season. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I'm going to be taking shots of caffeine on Monday because the game starts at 7:30, which is not as late as the Sugar Bowl was, but we'll see about that.
Are you actively rooting against Michigan? Greg Cody came in
because
here.
they're cheaters, you mean?
Greg Cody came in here and said, we are all Huskies now. Washington's style of play, wildly fun, but they're going to get beat up inside because Michigan plays inside, and Washington's defense has had trouble
know.
all year.
I don't know if necessarily that's true. I do think that more people will be rooting for Washington as casual fans than Michigan because I think Michael Penix is he's one of my favorite college football players of probably my lifetime. He's so much fun to watch, and he is just dropping dimes to those receivers. They are fun to watch. They have kind of just like they've had a chip on their shoulder, and so has Michigan for other reasons, but they haven't blown out teams, and they've played a really tough schedule, so that's partially why. But I think they felt a little disrespected, and now they're coming into the 15th game of the season in which they haven't lost a game yet, with the opportunity to knock off Michigan, whereas like Michigan has had this Michigan versus the world thing going on all season because of the recruiting violations, and then because of the Connor Stallions thing, and because
we're all looking for who did this.
Right. They feel like, we're really good too, and it's not our faults that our non-conference schedule is so easy and no one really watched us until week
Michigan's
9.
us against the world is entirely self-created, is it not? But now it's true. It's also true.
Well,
now.
they become hateable because of it.
Yeah, and Penix is a type of athlete, I think, a lovable underdog that everyone likes his story by now is familiar with it. I think they'll rally around. Dan, you have not lost your fastball, by the way, because you had a sports take that genuinely agitated me. Because you just blanket said, well, now the SEC is just going to be running roughshod of this, and without zero sense of irony that 2 Big Ten schools just knocked out 2 SEC schools.
Oh, no, but because I believe the best SEC team, this is a controversial take.
Especially on the heels of two teams in the SEC. Let's count Texas there, losing to 2 Big Ten schools.
Mike, I watched Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State play against each other this year, and that style of football, barbaric though it is, primitive though it is, does not feel to me as big and fast as what they're doing in the South. Now, we will see over the next 10 years when Texas and Oklahoma do this Southern football thing of playing against beefy football teams from up north. We are going to see whether Michigan gets crowned on playing tough guy football up front. But when Michigan was playing Penn State, both of them were just trying to run the ball into each other in the third and fourth quarter, and I don't want to watch that as football.
Well, there is a style of play, but that style of play did just do it against Bama. And you're forgetting the teams that are coming into the Big Ten as well. Oregon, Washington, who you love, they're a Big Ten school. USC, these are different. Stylistically, the conference schedule is going to be amazing.
I feel like it's even more bizarre now to link schools together by their conference, because who are we counting as? Does Washington counts as a Big Ten school now, and Texas counts as I don't understand how we're doing that, but I think Michigan was able to win the game because they flashed in the passing game in a way that they haven't been able to do because of, I think, various reasons in their last 4 or 5 games. They haven't had to also. That J.J. McCarthy play where he just chucked it up and was able to find the receiver downfield. I think you might have seen that on
a tip ball, by the way.
Great ball.
On Twitter this week. It was going re-viral again. Those types of plays were what made the difference in the game, I thought, because Alabama absolutely controlled the line of scrimmage for periods of the game in which I thought they were a field goal away or one drive away from just shutting Michigan out in the fourth quarter, and they weren't able to do it. And so it was not it was really close. I don't think you can make any sort of
I felt like Michigan should have won by more.
I thought, I don't think you're. I saw a different first half. I know second half that Alabama's trenches settled in, but I thought early on it was pretty clear that Michigan was a better team in the trenches. But either way, let's relive this wonderful game that Lucy's. Where is Lucy? She's just missing.
She took the week off. She wept more than she has ever wept during a football game.
So this is like bereavement leave because she became so
Who's
emotional.
in charge of that? I was expecting to talk to her this week.
We're allowed to take vacation. She works hard.
I suspect that we'll find out why she's missing.
Are we doing
this
whole thing again? Lucy's not here. She's on vacation. I will not allow this with Lucy. You did it with me. Will not allow this with Lucy.
Just doing a tease to a video in which we'll all find out together why she's not here. Here it is.
Hi, Dan. We are here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. It is so beautiful out. I'm hoping it's the game of the year, but I got to be honest with you, Michigan fans kind of freak me out. They scare me. I got off the airplane. There was Michigan fans everywhere in the airport. I felt immediately unsafe. So I brought on some security. Mike Golick Jr.,
Lucy, happy to help. I've got a lot of experience with the people wearing maize and blue, so should be able to help out there. Unfortunately, I only have experience getting my ass kicked by the people from Tuscaloosa, so not going to be much help if they try and come.
It's okay. I've seen Iowa lose by 30 at the Rose Bowl before, too. It's never fun. It's never fun. Are you nervous about today at all?
Not at all.
Not even a little bit?
No, roll Tide.
Roll
There's no reason to be nervous at all.
What's your prediction?
I think Alabama's going to win by at least 20.
At least 20.
At minimum.
How many NFL interviews do you think Jim Harbaugh takes this offseason?
Oh. 2. Raiders and Chargers.
Does it hurt your feelings when he does that?
At this point, no. It's kind of like, you know, it's like having a girlfriend who's like threatening to leave you. And it's like, at this point, just do it. You know, like, just do it.
Connor Stallions deserves a statue outside of the stadium. Do you agree?
I honestly do think Stallions probably grew up with the dream of making an impact on Michigan football. So I don't know if he gets a statue, but kudos to him because like if you told a little kid like me when I was a Michigan fan growing up in diapers, you're going to have this big of a name and impact in Michigan football, I'd probably be like, I'm going to go make that happen. I think that Stallions really just made his dream come true. So yeah, like good for him, right?
That is the best way I've heard anyone describe what Connor Stallions has done. He made his dreams come true.
He did. He made his dreams come true. That's what America's about.
He's the ultimate Michigan man.
We love the Pac-12. We're Pac-12 guys ourselves. Go Buffs, go Stanford, go Cards. That's what we love. That's what we do.
Are you here like protesting? Or are you trying to raise awareness?
you know. When I think of the Pac-12, there are 5 things I think of, and it's brotherhood, tradition, family, sound learning, and championships.
Thank you so much for your service. Truly.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're changing the world, my guy. Thank you.
Love you guys. Hey, roll Tide. Let's go. Roll Tide money line.
Yeah.
We're going all the way to the Natty. We're going all the way to Houston, and we're going to carry that trophy. Yeah. Roll Tide. Why are you carrying Tide and toilet paper?
Because it's Roll Tide, baby. Because it's Roll Tide.
Roll Tide!
Hey, man.
I should have seen that one coming. That actually makes an overwhelming amount of sense. I was lost. It's chaos. I've lost control. This is what happens when Lucy's off the mic.
Do you watch the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz?
I do not.
Okay. Do you know what it is?
I've heard it before, and I'm embarrassed I don't know it.
That's
okay. Can you give me an explanation?
I barely knew it, and I worked there.
Okay.
So.
Well, you might want to learn more than me then.
Do you watch the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz?
Absolutely. Every freaking day. I listen to it.
That counts. That counts.
I recognized you.
Who's your favorite person on the show? Answer wisely.
Billy Gill.
Yeah.
Billy Gill. Billy Gill.
Is Taylor ever on the screen?
Yeah,
Taylor is on the. Taylor's a star.
He deserves more FaceTime, I think.
I really agree with that as well.
Can we rename the show to the Gunnar Geiger and Dan Leonard and Stugotz show?
Who's Dan Leonard?
Dan Leva, whatever that said.
Dan, I got a rose. I broke it already, but it's still fine. We're still good. There is that was maybe my favorite college football game I've ever been to. I don't know what it is about the Rose Bowl when Christian McCaffrey and Iowa aren't playing. It is the most magical place on earth. I swear to God, Disneyland bottles up what they find here, and then they bring it down to Anaheim. The atmosphere, I don't know if I've ever heard I sound so, old man. I don't know if I've ever heard a crowd that. That's how I feel, though. Because it was insane. Michigan fans were crazy. Alabama fans were less crazy, but they were still into it. I don't know what they were doing at the ends. Bama, that was questionable. That was some of that play calling, brother. What do I know? What do I know? I'm just on Gen CFB/Folk Girls, whatever it's called these days. I had something so cute planned, something so concise. This is the second time we filmed this because the first time I was like, we went too long, and I'm so just rambling again. But that was awesome. This is the best sport. I don't care what anybody says. Fight me. It's the best sport. Also, I'm not coming back to Miami this week. I don't want to. I'm going to go see Steely Dan in concert instead. So if you need me, I'm busy going to see the Dan. Stu's allowed to do it with the dead. I should be able to do it with Steely Dan.
Lou Gotts.
Yeah, Lucy battered by the energy of the Rose Bowl. Just battered by it, delirious.
So not working.
So just not working because college football the energy of that was too much for her.
I think going to Steely Dan counts as working.
Mm-hmm.
Stugotz does too.
Steely Dan Leonard.
Mike Ryan is about to just get some Steely Dan over here as I again vigorously defend the controversial take that Georgia's great at football and I think they are better than everyone else. And the reason Alabama beat them is because their coach is kind of amazing. kind of amazing what Nick Saban has done. Obvious. Both things very obvious. I also saw, and I know the bowl games don't mean anything because all of this is different now. I saw Lane Kiffin ravage James Franklin. Penn State, I was told, is the best defense in football. And at the top of that conference, what I have seen for 10 years is Penn State. Michigan State snuck in there for a year, and we gave Mel Tucker a bunch of money. But the style of football that Michigan and Penn State and Ohio State have played, Ohio State has elevated what that has been because they can win with their third-string quarterback when they get Urban Meyer. But the professional football has been played at the top of the SEC by Georgia and Alabama for the last 10 years.
Don't exclude LSU either.
Yep.
I mean, taking any kind of result and projecting it, yeah, they had one of the best defenses in the nation, and Manny Diaz is now coaching Duke. Bowl games are weird like that. The SEC is a great conference. I'm not arguing that, but to say that they're going to run roughshod is kind of ignoring what's happened to the landscape of college football when the Big Ten is adding the likes of Oregon, USC, Washington. Again, next year, there's going to be a rematch, and it's going to be a part of the conference schedule in the Big Ten. Michigan versus Washington. I think it's an arms race between those two conferences at this point.
I think what's cool about this matchup is that it's not two teams at the top of like the talent composite list. These are two teams with largely, not the big 5-star names that have been coached really well by two excellent head coaches, and now we get to watch them play each other, and maybe it'll be the start of a new rivalry in the Big Ten.
How does Lucy get a whole week off?